All right, everybody. How's everyone doing today? I'm Lawrence Watkins. I am the President and Chief Operating Officer of Boyce Watkins Enterprises in the Black Business School. The individuals who brought you the Financial Juneteenth Black Crypto Investing Group. We have a very special guest for you today. Two people that you know, or one that you know, and the other that is new to the community, but we wanted to interview him because he has a great company that's being formed on the blockchain. So that is Trey Baker and also Stephen Francis. Today we're going to start out with talking to Trey because Trey's been pushing me, man. He kept asking me, kept saying, Lawrence, man, we need to talk about these masternodes. I'm like, Trey, what the hell's a masternode? He's like, man, it's things that help, make the blockchain continue to be decentralized. And, for those I guess you guys who know me know that of the team, I'm probably the person least knowledgeable in regards to the blockchain space. So that's why they always have me on these interviews, because I make sure that I ask the questions that, other newbies really want to know. So Trey, man, how you doing today?
I'm great, man. Just out here in St. Lucia enjoying this tropical weather. So, I can't complain.
Yeah, it's funny because I was telling you off camera that I'm here in San Diego for the 48-hour business school. And, I'm coming from Medellin, Colombia, and it's so cold here, right? And I was saying that, that you're spoiled when you go to San Diego, California in the wintertime and you think it's cold. So, yeah, but I'm glad you're enjoying that tropical weather down in St. Lucia. For the past, what, Trey, I've never seen you this persistent to talk about a topic in regards to the masternodes and that type of thing.
Yeah,
And when you,
go ahead.
I was saying, when you get that passionate about something, I need to make sure that I always listen, because it's usually on the brink of something excellent or great that's going to change the world.
Yeah.
So can you just talk a little bit more in terms of masternodes and what they are and how we can benefit from them?
Yeah, definitely. So masternodes are basically another form of staking or a higher level of staking. So that basically just means you earn rewards by holding coins. Some coins like Bitcoin, they're mined with a proof of work algorithm. So you basically got all these supercomputers trying to solve a problem, and whoever solves it first gets the reward. While other coins have what's called proof of stake. So just basically by owning the coin, you get some type of reward. You prove the stake, you prove your place in the coins that you hold, or you prove that you're involved in the network. Then that qualifies you for the reward. So you don't actually have to do any work. Like with Bitcoin, the computer does the work. You get coins. With proof of stake, you own the coins. That's how you get the reward. So a masternode is basically a higher level of proof of stake. So I think Dash was the first masternode coin, and they just take it a step further by creating a different class of holders who are basically running a node. So a node in crypto space is basically just like a computer that helps confirm transactions and secure the network. Some of them help anonymize transactions, so making privacy, making the network more private, and also helping make the system more resilient. So masternodes are a combination of running a node and staking coins. So you have to own a certain amount of coins to run a masternode. So with Dash, it's 1,000 coins. If you have 1,000 coins, you set up your node on a computer or a virtual server or something, and you connect that wallet with those coins to the server, basically proving that you have those coins. You can run a masternode. So all that to say, just a computer that holds a wallet, does confirms some transactions, and in exchange for all that effort, you get a piece of the blockchain, of the block reward. So with different coins, it's a different percentage. So it may be like 50% go to miners, 50% go to masternodes, or 3% goes to the foundation of the coin, and the rest goes to a masternode. It depends on the split. So there's a few websites you can actually look at to see all the coins that have masternodes, and what the cost of the masternode is, and like the current return on investment. So one of them, the one that I use is masternodes.pro, so masternodes.pro, and then the other one is masternodes.online, and it just gives you a list of masternodes and their returns. So just short story, by holding all these coins, you can earn passive income. The problem is,
what's the problem? Go ahead. What's the problem?
So the problem is it's not super easy to set up. Like for a developer or a techie person, it's probably super simple. I set mine up. I'm not a coder or anything. I just have a little bit of tech experience. So I set my first one up a couple weeks ago, and it maybe took me like 3 or 4 hours to figure it out. But a lot of people aren't going to want to even go through the process of trying to figure it out. And you have to own a certain amount of coins to get a masternode. So like I said, with Dash, it's 1,000 coins. Like 2 years ago, that wasn't a problem, but now Dash is worth about $600. So that's 600 stacks that you got to have just to get a masternode. Not all of them are I think that's probably one of the most expensive ones. Not all of them are that expensive, but most of the good ones, the ones that you actually want, are definitely over at least $10,000. So you might be able to get like one masternode, but there's dozens of coins that have masternodes. So if you want to get involved in a few of them, it can take significant capital. So some people have started setting up these shared masternode services where you can just buy shares of the masternode. So instead of investing the whole 10,000 coins, you might only have to put up 10, and you get 1% of the masternode rewards. But you want to ask a question?
Yeah. So that's interesting. So why is this concept of like masternodes in proof of stake? Because masternodes is a subsection of proof of stake. Is that correct?
You could say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So why, for those for the people out there who just may be new to this space in general, like why is the proof of stake, like what are the advantages of doing proof of stake over like their traditional like mining, in which people are used to thinking about Bitcoin with?
Yeah, I forgot most of them. The main one that stuck out to me was the fact that it's less resource intensive. So like Bitcoin miners use up a ton of energy and electricity, and it's basically like wasted electricity. Like it serves some value, but it takes way more resources than it needs to serve that function, right? So with proof of stake, the computer doesn't have to be doing all this stuff. You just have the coins. That is the work. That's the work instead of a computer running it. So it's more environmentally friendly, basically. I'm not sure what the security implications are of both systems. So we have to have somebody who's a little bit more technical to talk about that. But there's been a pretty big debate in the community of proof of work versus proof of stake. And then some people have split it with hybrid systems. So I think Bulwark is a masternode coin that has a proof of work component, but it's gonna fade. It's gonna phase out the proof of work and go primarily towards proof of stake, I believe, after a certain amount of time. So basically, I think the main benefit is it's supposed to be less resource intensive, more environmentally friendly.
I guess if you have a stake in the coin, like what's the rationale behind the proof of stake concept, right? Is it that if you have a stake in the coin that you are more likely to want that coin to succeed, or more than likely to, making sure that the security is upheld with that coin? Or like, like what is the benefit of proof of stake from that perspective, if you know?
Well, so I think another issue that's debated is, like with Bitcoin, the fact that miners have so much power. Basically, Bitcoin is supposed to be decentralized, but in essence, it's become centralized because the biggest miners have the most say in what goes on. Like if 40% of the miners are owned by like 2 or 3 mining pools, basically those mining pools run stuff, and if they decide not to do something, then it's not going to get done. I think that's one of the things that stopped was it SegWit from happening, because the miners and developers couldn't agree. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if that's possible, if that's true, but issues with miners have caused some coins to become more centralized than what they should be. So proof of stake is supposed to help with that. Although if somebody has most of the coins, then I guess that's the issue too. So
yeah, I guess there's always going to be issues.
That's why it's debated. That's why it's debated, and I think that's why some people have hybrid systems. But rather than getting philosophical about what's better, I just know that MasterNodes allow you to make passive income. So that's why, and they have voting mechanisms. So MasterNodes have basically vote on issues related to the protocol and like the roadmap. So having a masternode is basically like having a seat on the council. So rather than miners making all the decisions, masternodes can help, vote on decisions, and anybody can get a masternode if you have, the money.
Right. No, I got you. So no, that's interesting. So let's get back to masternodes in a second. I just want to give a shout out to Brother Kevin Jarvis, Cornelius Broadnax, and
Jarvis. Did he make Jarvis?
Say what?
Is that the guy picking all the coins?
Yeah, Kevin, I know, right? It's just a coincidence, but he's the Kevin the crypto trucker, that as we affectionately call him, because he does crypto in his spare time, but drives a truck during the day. So he's joining us right now. So so let's talk about masternodes in terms of where are the opportunities. You mentioned some of them before, like
yes,
what coins have the biggest opportunities to have masternodes?
Well, that's kind of, so when I look at coins, well, let me finish how I was talking about with the shared. So with the shared masternode services, some people have started to make those so you can buy shares rather than the whole thing, and then you don't have to run it yourself. So like if you don't have any technical experience or you don't want to deal with that, people will, because it does require like a hosting service or, some resources. So you have to like kind of monitor that. So it is some effort involved. It's not 100% passive income, but it's pretty passive. But rather than people doing that themselves, their shared masternode services, but the problem with that is like you have to trust whoever's running that service because they have control of your coins once you send it to them. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I haven't gone that route. And I think it might be more beneficial for now that we have the DU is to, maybe see if people are interested in us setting up our own shared masternodes. But so what was your question?
Yeah, my question is, where are the opportunities lying, right? So like which coins is there opportunity? Also, you mentioned things like shared masternodes, and that's an idea actually, right? Because, one of the things, we want to promote with the DU is this idea of collective capitalism, right? So where we come together as collective to, make deals, right? So that's why the DUIC was even formed, from that perspective. So like from a mining or proof of stake perspective, there's opportunities in terms of like forming, your own masternode group or whatever, and like organizing that type of thing.
Right, and I'm sure somebody who's more on the technical side can explain exactly why proof of stake is better or is not better. So we can get into that maybe if we get another guest to talk about that. But so in terms of evaluating the coins, so what I do is basically evaluate the coin as if like the same way Jarvis would do it, or the same way you would look at a coin, whether you want to buy it long or if you want to, just day trade it. Most coins I get into, I'm holding long, just because I'm not really actively managing my portfolio. Well, from the outside looking in, I'm probably more active than most people, but still, like I'm not really into day trading. So when I look at masternode coins, I look at, do I want to hold this coin long? So I look at, is the GitHub active? What's the market cap and the price of the coin? So, do they have a large community behind it? Do we actually need this coin? Is the coin doing anything useful? A lot of the masternode coins are based off Dash. Well, the first one, there's a lot of privacy masternode coins. So like I'm all down for that. So all the privacy coins, I basically hold all of those because that's very important, right? Like the purpose of this stuff is so we can transact with each other without government interference. And if they can trace all your transaction history, that makes it much easier for them to, regulate you and put roadblocks in the way of a decentralized economy. So I like the privacy coins. I like coins that actually have a purpose. So there's ganja coin, which is a pot coin and it's a cannabis related coin and a masternode coin. So I think their thing is like, you can redeem one coin for one feminized marijuana seed. So that puts some actual like value behind it. And there's Neutron, I think Neutron coin, which is building a online crypto education platform or something, which I thought was pretty cool. So like, I'll evaluate it like as if I wanted to hold the coin, because that's what you're going to end up doing. Because the masternode only works if you have at least the amount of coins that you need to run the masternode. So if you sell like if you get rid of one coin out of that 10,000 and you have 999 dash, you lose your masternode. So it encourages you to hold it long. So if it's a coin that I don't want to hold long, then I'm not going to get a masternode in it. And then so after that, after I narrow that down, then you just look at you go to a site like MasterNodes.pro and you look at the annual ROI. They've got like this second column. They show you the name of the coin and then the ROI. So like right now, Dash is at the bottom somewhere. I don't even think it's not even on here right now. It was last time I looked at it was like 5%. But then you have some masternodes that are returning like 300%, 600%, 200% annual returns.
Yeah, so really,
I'm looking at.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about the masternodes actually a little bit more. It's a way to earn additional passive income. How is that passive income distributed? Is it distributed with like more of that currency, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like mining. So if you mine Ethereum, you get paid in Ethereum.
Right. Okay, got you. So it's a way to, just by having a stake in the particular coin, a masternode allows you to make more of that coin as the value of that particular coin increases or decreases.
Exactly. So like you hope that the value of the coin goes up, but even if it stays stable, stays flat, or goes down, at least you're still earning some income on top of that. So you're basically reducing your cost basis for the coin.
Right.
If you buy 10 coins and you get one, you have 11 coins. So that price you pay for the 10 coins gets spread out over 11 coins or 12 coins or 13 coins. So you could sell your coins at the same price you bought them at, but still make a profit because you made a return from staking.
Can you talk about that a little bit more then, in terms of like what's required to set up a masternode? Because I guess a person could have 10,000 of a coin and qualify for a masternode, but not necessarily have one set up.
Yeah. So usually requires you to download the wallet for that coin. So not like a mobile wallet or an exchange wallet. You actually have to have the wallet on your desktop. The desktop wallet. And then you need to get a VPS from a service like Vultr or DigitalOcean, which is virtual private server. I believe that's the acronym. And that allows you to run the node without having to have your computer on all the time. Because to run the node, basically, it's got to be connected all the time. You don't want to have that on your laptop unless you have a computer just lying around that you can do that on and keep it on and connected to the internet all the time. So that services like those, I think the cheapest one I found is about $5 a month. So it's not out of the realm of people's capabilities. It's the technical aspect. Like if you have the capital, the technical aspect is a relatively small hurdle. The biggest hurdle is the capital required, especially if you want multiple masternodes with multiple coins.
Gotcha. Yeah. So let's wrap this discussion up then on the masternodes. Like, is there anything else that the people need to really look out for as they're getting into this space?
No, man. Like we always say, Google is your friend. Just do a little bit more research. Look at those websites that I mentioned, MasterNodes.pro and MasterNodes.online. You can see all the coins, and then just go to like CoinMarketCap or something and get all the information. Look at their website, look at their GitHub. Evaluate it like you would evaluate holding a coin long. I think the only coin that Jarvis has recommended that is also a MasterNode coin is pivots. So that might be a good place to start, since a lot of DU members might already be holding pivots because Jarvis recommended it. So
yeah, let's not talk about Jarvis recommendations. This is in the Black Crypto Investing group too. So we'll
okay.
yeah, we'll let that one slide.
They missed out on that one anyway, so you can't do anything with that information.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, that's excellent. So, and also if people want to self-organize either within the DU or within the Black, crypto investing group, please do so. Like we put, all these people together. The BCI has 60,000 members now. So we just crossed the 60,000 member mark a few days ago. So, we definitely have a powerful force with those who are interested in actually investing in crypto. So this is.
I raise my hand. I volunteer to join whoever wants to start this stuff.
Yeah. So there we go. So let's just bring that Ujamaa to the group. Collective collective work and responsibility, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and just bring that to our different groups on that front. And along those lines, I'm very happy to welcome Stephen Fance. Did I pronounce it right? Is it Fance?
Yeah, Fance.
Yeah, I would like to welcome Stephen Fance to our community, right? So Stephen has a company on the blockchain called iCarriage, which is looking to disrupt things as it relates to like the supply chain of goods and services. So I won't be able to explain his company or do his company justice with explaining it. So we'll let him get to that in a second. But before we do, just want to know more about Stephen in terms of how he got into the space, what his background is. And then he's going to tell us all about iCarriage and their coin, which is called CarriageCoin. So Stephen, man, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. How you doing, man?
Doing excellent. How's everything out in LA? So you're based in Atlanta, right? But you're out in LA right now. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we're based in Atlanta, and we're out in LA to activate our cannabis arm of the business. So we're out here meeting some business owners, some dispensaries, current dispensaries, some business owners that are looking to grow their dispensaries, and specifically for growers who are looking for a turnkey solution to become a cannabis grower. So.
Got you. Okay, yeah, let's talk about that then. But before we do, just give us a little bit of background about yourself and how you even got into this crypto space.
Yeah. So my background, I'm a second generation coder. Been coding since I was 12 years old. I studied and went to Morehouse College, studied mathematics, and started my career in the, I guess, supply and logistics with the largest military contractor in the world. I basically was brought on to help keep their planes in the air longer. So I wrote some software automation for the company, and basically it was able to help all of the different military arms across the U.S. A lot of money in terms of maintenance of the plane. So I helped keep up with the failures. So I used that knowledge and started doing consulting work. So I started doing the same type of software automation as a software architect for Fortune 500 corporations in Atlanta. And so I did that for roughly about 5 years, and then got into, going off my own, going in the startup world. So we came up with iCarriage. And so iCarriage, we started with doing oil changes for fleet vehicles, and then we moved on to Internet of Things sensors. And then from there, we got into blockchain. But honestly, I've really kind of found out about cryptocurrency back in 2013 from Trey here. Me and
Trey put a lot of people on back in the day.
Yeah, and man, I've been beating.
Trey made a lot of people some money.
Yeah,
over time.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't jump on the bandwagon that early on. With Bitcoin. And so Trey, he definitely put people on game, and not everybody listens. So everybody is kind of kicking themselves. So, this cryptocurrency wave is crazy, and blockchain is the gold to it. So.
Yeah, no. So that's an interesting story. So you didn't just hop right into this with iCarriage. you had, a couple of different pivots, right?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, we started doing oil changes for fleet vehicles. So if you own like a plumbing company, or if you're a school district, we would do the oil changes. But then we transitioned to installing GPS tracking devices for probably the largest telecom company in the nation. And they hired us to actually install these sensors on their fleet vehicles. So we would, from anywhere from 3 vehicles to 50 vehicles of fleets, we install these sensors. And so with that type of, hands-on experience, and we did that in 7 states for multiple telematics companies, as we call it. So we've gone from GPS tracking devices to camera systems. So we're definitely, on the forefront of the Internet of Things. And now that we've integrated blockchain technology, it's really, we're giving, our competition a run for their money. So.
No, that's interesting. So talk more about how you even came up with the idea to use the blockchain to solve this particular problem. But even before you get to that part, let's talk about the problem that you're solving. So can you tell the audience what problem you're solving with iCarriage right now?
Yes. So with iCarriage, what we are is, first, we offer a from seed to sale full-scale cannabis retail solution with features designed for real-time supply and demand predictions, for compliance with the dispensaries, with dealing with the state. We help the growers and dispensaries grow their business by offering our app to consumers and selling their product in multiple markets. We manage the customers, and also we make the overall store operations more efficient by using blockchain, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things sensors. And so what we do is, within that system, we provide a turnkey solution where we build, construct, and install the automation for a smart, quote unquote, cannabis greenhouse for franchise owners. So basically, you'll be able to control, grow, and sell your cannabis through your smartphone, and we basically market and sell it through our app.
So that's interesting. Yeah. Go ahead, Trey.
With the hardware, so you said you're integrating Internet of Things sensors. Are you all designing and building those sensors yourselves, or do you have partners for that?
Yeah, we have partners for that. So it depends on what the owner operator budget is, and then also what their goals are. And so there are a number of vendor products that we use, and basically we bring these products in and then we integrate it to our software platform to control them and automate.
Right. So this is stuff that exists now. Like nothing has to be invented. Like this works today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All this stuff is available now. And the thing is that with the hardware it's become more realistic today to do this because the hardware costs have decreased in the last 4 to 5 years. And then now that, with smartphones, of course, it's been around in the US, but it's starting to, the internet is expanding worldwide. I think worldwide acceptance is like only 50%. But now that we have blockchain technology, we're really able to deal with the issues of security. We're able to deal with transparency. So we're able to really, provide, which in this day and age, data is gold. And so we're basically capturing this data, and we're able to, help all of those characters that we mentioned from the customer all the way to the grower save money. But we also are able to provide pivotal information for everyone in the supply chain to basically make more money or to be as healthy as possible consuming products.
So that's interesting. So what type of information would you be providing to, let's say, the customer via this system?
Yeah. So with the customer, let's say specifically for the cannabis. So if you wanted to buy weed through the app, most people would want to say like, hey, I want to make sure that I don't fall asleep, after I, consume weed or cannabis, or I, am having a hard time paying attention. So there's different strands that weed now in today's age with technology, that companies are able to come up with these different strands for the customer so they can make the best decision for, their circumstances or themselves. So by us using blockchain technology, we're able to literally funnel all of that information all the way from the seed to the customer with absolute transparency.
Yeah, no, I think that's very valuable. And I can see this being expanded to a lot of different things, related to, the food supply chain and really any supply chain, right? So is that the goal, is to, start with cannabis and then expand this to other supply chains that are out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Our ultimate goal is the food supply chain. We started with cannabis because of, just naturally, the government and laws are changing for the better. And so, the market is hot, so we're kind of hitting the nail, while, during taking advantage of the times. However, the food supply chain is what really got us into this automation with supply chain. And I noticed it, when we were just doing straight with the fleet vehicles. Myself, I had changed my diet to mostly vegan diet, taking out a lot of meat, and just paying attention to my health. And so as a result, I started cooking more. I started, searching for different products that was in line with my food palette, and I had hard times, or it was extremely expensive. So I came up with a solution by, first of all, I understand why food prices have, increased over the last 4 to 5 decades, and it's because of the logistics and operations, the total overhead costs. By installing these GPS tracking devices on these trucks, we were able to meet with a lot of business owners and really understand what the problem is. And it's the cost of transporting goods from A to B. And so by our software automation, by installing these sensors, by using artificial intelligence and using blockchain, we would literally be able to, on a global scale, by bringing on the biggest groceries, the biggest farmers, and the biggest factory processors onto our platform. And we would literally be able to make organic food the price of GMO prices here in the United States now. So our ultimate goal is really, to use technology to, bring healthy, nutritious, affordable food for families here and, worldwide. So.
Yeah, no, I love it. And, what you just mentioned actually made me think about an interview on, there's an NPR podcast called How I Built This. And they interviewed the founders of Warby Parker, who make glasses. So I have a pair of Warby Parker glasses as well. And, they were wondering how do they go about pricing glasses at $95, which is about a third of the cost as how much a prescription pair of glasses will cost you in a lens crafter or something like that. And they were talking about just the inefficiencies of the supply chain, right? And, that's just one example in terms of inefficiencies of the supply chain. I can imagine like the food supply chain being even more inefficient in many different types of ways, right? So, I think, from an opportunity standpoint, anything that can really improve the efficiency of a particular supply chain, there's a lot of, growth opportunity like with that.
Absolutely. And so, and I'll give a good example. So, a few years ago when we had I think it was spinach that had like the E. coli breakout, where all over the news, people were getting sick. They had to go to thousands of grocery stores, take down all the spinach, and people were paid overtime to go, do all this logistics just so that the public doesn't consume bad products. Well, in essence, if that spinach company had utilized our technology with our sensors being installed in the factories and utilizing blockchain with smart contracts, that company would have been able to pinpoint exactly which factory or which truck, which refrigerator had broken down, and where that spinach that is now has E. coli, can pinpoint it and take it off the market without going nationwide and taking off all these products and basically saving millions of dollars with simple software solutions that honestly are quite cheap compared to the loss, that these companies endure. And it really just speaks about this blockchain technology, and about how it's really a simple, cryptographic, secure network, which is basically a hack-proof internet. And it really is able to solve an abundant of problems worldwide. Honestly, blockchain will, that example will save lives. So, we're here for it. Blockchain is definitely not going anywhere. I would say in terms of analogies, we're like in 1994, 95 when AOL and Yahoo and eBay came out and all these websites came out. And that's what all these cryptocurrencies are. So when I say blockchain is here, it's literally definitely here to stay. So.
Yeah, man. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook, if you have any questions for either Stephen or Trey, just please post them. I see you, Hodge, watching, Dean, and others as well. So if you guys have any questions for either of these gentlemen, please let me know, and I'll be happy to ask them for you.
So I got a kind of a specific question for regarding the food supply chain. So you mentioned how it can help big companies and large groceries. What about like smaller farmers? I've been in urban farming for a little bit, and there's a ton of inefficiencies in terms of distribution and logistics. So I'm wondering if you've given any thought to that, if there's what kind of potential you see there, and if you're doing anything in that regard.
Yeah, so I would say with the small farmers, one problem that's a big problem that blockchain can solve is imports and exports with, when selling your product. So you're selling apples or something across the globe. You're going to have to deal with different entities as making sure that the food is good quality, and it takes like three different different entities from getting the food, shipping it out, getting approval from both governments of both countries, and then accepting it. And so with smart contracts will literally be able to remove like most of those middlemen in that process, will decrease the amount of time that it takes from the farmer's products to get to the dinner table. But also it will save money for the government entities, and overall that savings would trickle down to the farmer for lack of logistics. So blockchain will definitely, that's just one example of how it can solve some farmers' issues and problems today.
So there's a lot of competition in the Internet of Things space and automation space that they're not using blockchain yet. So like, can you talk kind of a little bit to the competition that doesn't use blockchain, and like how specifically how this is better than the existing solutions that are out there, right? Because like there's people who do what you're doing, except they just don't use blockchain. It's centralized, and so.
Yeah, so let me give you a probably the best reason for anyone to even consider blockchain. So let's imagine if you are a big time plumbing company, you have 100 plumbers that's under you, and you have an Internet Thing device or a GPS tracking device on your fleet of trucks, right? So of all those 100 devices, because they're just quote unquote connected to the basic internet, one of those devices can get hacked and the whole network can be infiltrated just from that one device. Now, and when I say that one device, a person may ask, okay, what's the repercussions? Well, let's say if a hacker was to get in your network and shut your business down and say, we won't give you back access to your company until you give us $1 million, and, they'll give you access back. But, most companies, that can take a company down. And so something as simple as having a company like us to come in and secure your network utilizing blockchain technology, I mean, it can be life or death for a company. So that's a perfect example of how any of these devices can be hacked. A number of companies, I believe like IBM has led a kind of a coalition, or they're bringing on multiple corporations to help with this problem. What they call is a man in the middle of attack, and that's what that basically is hacking those devices. So that's what blockchain can definitely do. And us compared to a lot of these other, companies or currencies, for example, IOTA, I think they're using Internet of Things devices and blockchain. However, from our perspective, they're more so theory. Anybody can write a white paper and say that use blockchain with Internet of Things devices, it'll solve these problems. But we literally have vendor agreements. We've actually installed these devices on trucks and machinery. So we're able to bring a realistic perspective that honestly a lot of these companies don't have. And like I said, we've done business with the largest in the business. So we're quite confident in our goals and our milestones. We're out here in LA getting business, so things are looking pretty bright. We're having a good time. So
yeah, that's great to hear too. And some people actually came in late. A lot of people are at work right now. So can you do two things for me, Stephen? One, just briefly, give that overview again in regards to what iCarriage does, and also, you mentioned to me that there were 3 different pieces of the puzzle that you're trying to put into place. If you can you talk about those 3 different pieces of the puzzle as well?
Yeah, definitely. So iCarriage, we offer a from seed to sale full-scale cannabis retail solution with features designed for real-time supply and demand predictions, compliance with the government entities. We help businesses grow by selling their product on our app, which will be available in the next week or 2 through Apple and Google Store. We also help with software manage customers, collect data, and we help stores become more efficient using blockchain, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things sensors. And on the business-to-business side, particular, we provide a turnkey smart cannabis greenhouse, which we build, construct, and automate for franchise business owners. And so with that, we include the consumer that uses the app, we include the retail dispensary, and we include the grower. And by including everyone in this supply chain automation platform, we will able to save business owners money by decreasing overhead costs. And we're able to give consumers quality information about the products that they're consuming. And that's iCarriage. So.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. So do you see like the users being able to just purchase everything off of iCarriage, one thing, or everything that's like an organic type of food product off of iCarriage, or like what's the big vision in terms of what you see iCarriage actually being?
So our big vision is, truth be told, retailers are, kind of, getting, their ass kicked by Amazon. Everyone is afraid that, big bad Amazon with all this money is making moves and affecting markets. And these retailers do not know how to market to millennials. Millennials have now taken place of baby boomers in the market. We are in a position to buy more homes. We are leasing cars. We're buying more healthy, organic food. And it's so many things that the current 2018 consumer, their habits are a lot different than it was 30, 40 years ago. And so with iCarriage, what we are is we are the solution for these retailers by bringing all of these retailers within our app. And so that we're able to bring the millennials to these retailers and give them the ability to expand their market and then also really compete with Amazon on an e-commerce level.
Gotcha. Yeah, Kevin just mentioned Kevin Jarvis, who drives trucks. He does this crypto stuff in his spare time, and he's doing more and more of it. But he states that you need to find owner-operator truck drivers with the reefer trailers and pair them with the farmers in different regions and have them all use the same token and coin. he said that would fix multiple problems as well. So that was an idea that he had for you.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a plan. Is that everyone on our platform, from the consumer who buys food, groceries, to cannabis, to the retailer dispensary, to the grower, to the distributor trucks, distribution companies with the trucks, that everyone will use CarriageCoin to buy and sell services and goods, and also receive it as payment from different vendors on that network. And that's the main difference that I want to point out too. The true use of a cryptocurrency is not, what's been going on is that people are going on these exchanges and trading them. The true use of a cryptocurrency is that it's a medium of exchange for goods and services. And that's why, with CarriageCoin, we are actually pushing our software application that uses cryptocurrency to solve problems, as opposed to saying, hey, we have a cryptocurrency, buy our coin and sell it for higher value. That's not us. We're actually using it as a form of payment. And that's the main difference. And that's the main reason why we believe that, just like how AOL and Amazon and eBay survived the .com era, we're going to survive, this crypto blockchain era, because we're actually a startup who has products that customers use and need. So.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier too, right? So like in California, the challenge for dispensaries in terms of how much money that they actually spend transferring cash back and forth. Can you, talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, so if you own a dispensary in a legal cannabis market, the problem is that banks are regulated by the FDIC, and they do not accept credit card payments or debit card payments as deposits in the bank account. So as a result, if you're a dispensary or grower, you have to use all cash. So it's really like back to the Wild Wild West, where you have to pay a security company with armored vehicles, come in with, some, weapons that's out of, the movies, to transport your cash to a big vault somewhere that's highly protected, and so all that comes with the cost. You have to pay that every month. That comes from your revenues, your business. And as a result, you can just simply work with us. We market your product, we market your store, and you don't have to pay for a security company to transport your cash from point A to B. You just use cryptocurrency, and you'll be able to pay your grower. You'll be able to purchase cannabis from your grower. You'll receive cryptocurrency from your customers. And then we're working on, to the point where everything from utilities to the whole 9 yards is completely off of our CarriageCoin being used as a form of payment. So that's our roadmap with our coin.
Nice, man. Yeah. So Marcus wants to know, is this a Black-owned company? And the answer is yes. So, Stephen, you are the creator of CarriageCoin and iCarriage, correct?
Yes. So I am the CEO and CTO. I'm the architect and running the business. But our company is Black-owned. Our team is we're actually about 15, 16 people at this point, mostly developers and coders. Honestly, most of us are Black. So, being in Atlanta, that's kind of one of the perks, is that, we have a huge pool of talent that we can pull from. And we're actually using, that to our advantage. We believe that because we are, Black owned, and that, just based off the market, based from music culture to, what we wear, what we drive, we set the tone in what is cool, I guess, in the world. And therefore, people of color are the ones who kind of set that tone, set the trend. So therefore we hired people who look like us, who set those trends, and therefore they'll be able to, we've come up with great designs for our products that, we really think that people will love and really set us apart from any competition. So.
Got you. Yeah, no. And my last question before we get out of here is, what do you hope to see from Black people in the crypto space, right? So is there any aspirations, man, I wish Black people would X, Y, Z in the crypto space?
Yeah, so I had a kind of like an informal bet with a mentor of mine. So when we first, got into the crypto world, it's honestly ran mostly by, people who don't look like us, and, the kind of, unfortunately, the stereotype is that, people of color, Black people won't get into it simply because, unfortunately, we're often kind of late to the game when it comes to investments or outside the box vehicles to kind of, better our livelihood. And so what I did was we created a group me, and we just started educating people about wallets, about the basics of cryptocurrency and blockchain. And we're almost to 1,000 people in just over about 2 months. And so it's a real time, group me where we offer is a whole community of people, of crypto owners, Black people mostly, and we give tips, tricks, and how to use exchanges, what to look out for, ICOs, and of course, we kind of direct everyone to our coin. I mean, just from our use case, but essentially, we really see that this cryptocurrency and blockchain, honestly, is probably one of the best inventions since electricity. And I say that is because of the use case, and me being from a software architect with over 12 years experience working for corporations, when I tell you that blockchain can literally disrupt and take down the largest corporations that run our lives, I mean, it's an opportunity. And I think that, since now that technology is cheap, basically you can go buy a laptop for $300 at Best Buy, launch ICO and launch an app and make, the type of money that you can change you and your family's lifestyle and the people around you. We're living in great times. Like, we've never lived in a time like this, especially for people of color, in United States. So I'm excited. Everyone I talk to, they see the vision. They see, the news from Bitcoin, and so people are beginning to have trust in it. And that's all it is really building trust. And with iCarriage, we are positioning ourselves as the experts in blockchain. Kind of going back to your earlier question about MasterNodes, I can help you about the difference between the proof of work and proof of stake. And mostly, proof of work is essentially, it is very expensive to run a proof of work. And also, the biggest issue that we find is the transactions per second. So I think with, let's say, Ethereum, their transactions per second at its optimal operations, I think, is like 30 transactions per second. And then a point of stake blockchain would be at its optimal operations is like 10,000 transactions per second. So when we start talking about using cryptocurrency for day-to-day transactions, transactions and energy consumptions is very big. So that's the main reason why blockchains are being transferred from proof of work to proof of stake, including Ethereum. And I know that I forgot, what is that one? It starts with an N, but they're basically Ethereum.
Neo.
What's called?
Neo.
Yeah,
Neo.
Yeah, so Neo, I think is very interesting because they use a proof of stake algorithm, but they have two coins. One is the Neo coin, and then the other is the gas coin. And so the way that they, in reading their white paper, the way that they integrated it, I actually like it, and I think it's pretty good. And so we're building, because we have to build private blockchains for these growers and retailers, and so we are actually looking at using proof of stake for our blockchain architecture. So.
Excellent, man. Yeah. So for those out there who want to get in contact with you, know more about iCarriage and CarriageCoin, how do they go about contacting you?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways. We have, for one, you can join our GroupMe. I can share with our link for our GroupMe. And in there, we give a lot of information about what we're doing on a weekly basis. We offer information about blockchain, cryptocurrency, and just what, just kind of exciting things that's going on in the space. Another way is you can email us at info at icarriage.net, icarriage.net. So you can email us or join our GroupMe. And that's probably the best way to get in contact with us. The GroupMe, I think, is really good because, you'll have direct access to us, ask us questions, offer us suggestions for our app, for, our technology. So, and we're actually kind of, taking advantage of, these new technologies and reaching out to our customers.
Yeah. Do you have the link handy? You can put it in this chat, and I'll make sure that our customers get it right now.
Yeah. Let me get it real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, and I think it's important, to join GroupMes, such as the one that Stephen has, if you want to, really be in the crypto space. One, to learn, but two, one of the reasons why you put these groups together is for individuals to exchange their social capital, not just their financial capital, which is very important, but their social capital in terms of, their knowledge, their expertise, their networks, those types of things, that help us cooperate as a community. And, being a part of, other communities such as, Black Coin Group and, Stephen's group, with his GroupMe, I think that can go a long way in terms of that capital exchange amongst those in the, Black crypto space as well.
Absolutely.
All right. So, yeah, I got it right here. All right. So for those of you guys who are watching, I put the best ways to contact Stephen in the chat thread. So that's about it on my end. So any closing thoughts, Trey or Stephen?
No.
Yeah. So if you're interested in the MasterNodes, I'm in all the Facebook groups for the DU. So the coin investors or the larger group if you're not in DU. Just hit me up on Facebook or, holler at Lawrence or any of us, and just because we kind of just want to gauge to see if the community is even interested in this stuff before we make any moves.
Right. Yeah, most definitely. And and I just want to let you guys know, if you hit me up, sometimes it can be a black hole.
Okay, maybe don't hit up Lawrence. Maybe
Yeah, you should see my inbox messages and oh my gosh, it's so absolutely insane nowadays. But in a good way, But so definitely a lot of work.
I'm gonna post, periodically I'll post some information on there about MasterNodes. So just if you happen to notice it, just like it or comment or share it, just to see. If I get crickets, then we just won't do anything.
Right, most definitely. Stephen, you have anything to say? Are you good?
Yeah, I was gonna say we're actually most likely will do MasterNode for our coin, our currency. So I guess I can keep y'all up to date with that. So I know me and Trey were talking about mining and MasterNode. So we're definitely going ahead of that. We have to, honestly, just the way with our business is going. So there's definitely some room for partnerships with that.
Excellent. Yeah, I can definitely see partnerships in that front. So we'll let you guys self-organize. We have a lot of very intelligent people within the group, and I'm sure something can be worked out. So with that being said, I'm Lawrence Watkins. I'm here with Trey Baker and Stephen Francis of iCarriage and the CarriageCoin. Excuse me, fans. I keep calling you France. Yeah, and really I want to call you Stevie Francis. But Stephen Fance. I apologize about that, brother. So we're here with Stephen Fance and Trey Baker. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll be talking to you soon. All right, bye-bye.